Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Sheriff. I'm Ken Lawrence, Chair of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners, and it's wonderful to see everyone gathered here for this, the county's 5th annual Pride-Raising Flag event. Before we get started, I want to recognize some of our row officers and other guests who are here with us today. Our Sheriff, Sean Kilkenny, is here. Lori Schreiber, our Clerk of Courts, is here. D. Bruce Haynes, our Register of Wills, is here. There he is. Noah Marlier, our Prothonotary, is here today. Karen Sanchez, our Controller, is here. Gene Sorg, our Recorder of Deeds, is here. Judge Dan Clifford is here from our Court of Common Pleas. And State Representative Missy Serrato is here somewhere with the best dress of the day here, for sure. So today we are here to gather to celebrate Pride Month and the impact that lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex individuals, advocates, and allies have made on the history in the United States and here in Montgomery County. Today marks the 54th anniversary of the Stonewall riots in New York City. 2 transgender women of color, Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, led those protests that sparked the gay revolution after repeated police raids in 1969 on the Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village in Manhattan, one of the few places where openly gay people were welcome. All of these years later, LGBTQ plus community still deals with hatred and violence directed towards them, and in some cases, a lack of recognition for the most basic human rights. Along with celebrating, we are also here today to reaffirm our commitment to do more to support LGBTQ plus rights at all levels of government. We don't have to do more than read or watch the news to understand why this commitment is so important. These rights, which so many have fought for and so many gains have been made, are increasingly under attack. Companies such as Target, Bud Light, Jack Daniels, and Hershey Foods have recently faced backlash and received threats to their employees and have had to pull Pride Month products from the shelves as a result. In Florida and other states, and even in some school districts right here in Pennsylvania, books that attempt to address this subject matter are increasingly being banned. And countless acts of violence continue to take place against, in particular, transgender people. But we are here today to say that despite the intolerance reflected in those actions, there is some positive movement here in Pennsylvania. A bill called the Fairness Act that would add sexuality and gender identity to Pennsylvania's non-discrimination law passed the House of Representatives in May. The bill's passage marked a milestone in that advocates have been fighting for this inclusion for 20 years. Protections already exist for race, religion, and other attributes, but this legislation would add sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression to the types of discrimination that are not allowed under Pennsylvania law. To be clear, the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission already bans discrimination against LGBTQ people in employment, housing, education, and public accommodation. But as hard as it is to believe, we still need the state Senate to pass this bill so that these protections are finally codified in Pennsylvania law. Despite the gains that we've seen, every day the rights of our LGBTQ plus communities continue to be at risk. This is why it's so important that we as government leaders and community leaders stand up for all of the people we represent and push back on this hateful rhetoric and violent acts. And we must also take action. So I encourage you to call your state senator to make sure that the pending bill I mentioned does make it through to Governor Shapiro's desk. He will sign it. And contact your local elected officials as well. In Pennsylvania, municipalities are empowered by the state to enact LGBTQ plus equality laws and policies. Cities, townships, boroughs, and counties are allowed to pass ordinances creating local human relations commissions that can enforce policies on non-discrimination. And I'm very proud that we have a number of those local municipalities here in Montgomery County. In fact, Pennsylvania has the largest number of LGBTQ plus inclusive local non-discrimination ordinances adopted of any state in the nation. So let's all stay involved at all levels of government. There's still much work to be done. The fact that a minority of people in our own country criticize events like today shows me that we have a ways to go to convince everyone that we all should be treated equally. But at the same time, I have hope, and I hope you have hope as well, with the progress being made and the support we feel from the vast majority. So thank you for being out here today. We have some wonderful speakers to bring you words of encouragement and inspiration celebrating LGBTQ plus rights before we raise the flag. And next up, I'd like to introduce my friend and fellow commissioner, the vice chair of the board, Jamila Winder.
No, it's okay. We're getting used to this. So good afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful day. Thank you, Ken. It's great to be here with all of you on this pride-filled day. I'm really looking forward to hearing from all of our speakers, but in particular, our young poet laureate, Evan Wang, before we raise the flag. And I just found out, Evan told me that I went to school with his AP teacher, which is making me really old. So glad to have you. I also wanted to begin my remarks by reading a few words from a poem. I, and probably many of you, remember being enthralled during President Biden's inauguration by a brilliant young poet, Amanda Gorman, as she read her original work, The Hill We Climb. Although her poem is not specifically about the LGBTQ community, she wanted her words to represent unity, collaboration, and togetherness among Americans. Listen to the closing words of that poem. When the day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it. Those words by Amanda Gorman speak to what we celebrate here today. It has taken many people unafraid to wage this war for equality. And with the increased cases of violence we have been hearing about, it sometimes may feel as though the LGBTQ community is never fully going to see the light. Here in Montgomery County, we have proactively advocated for all employees and residents. I have said many times that diversity and equity are threaded through everything that we do. We have enacted policies that do not allow discrimination of any kind. As the first Black woman to serve on the Board of Commissioners, I can say proudly that we embrace inclusiveness. Over the past several years, under former Chair Valor Cush and my colleague Ken, we expanded our Equal Employment Opportunity Statement to prohibit discrimination, whether based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, disability, genetic information, veteran status, marital status, sexual orientation. You get my point. The list is long, right? We also continue to cover domestic partners in our county employee health insurance plan. And our paid parental leave policy covers all employees regardless of their gender identity. We were the first Philly suburban government to enact that kind of policy. We were the first county, thanks to D. Bruce Haynes, to allow same-sex marriage. Our Health and Human Services Department has worked with our LGBTQ plus community partners to create a health support page on the county's website that addresses specific needs in this community. In 2021, we hired our first ever Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Donna Richmond. She has helped us expand our DEI vision and mission and bring deeper meaning across all actions that we take. Donna is largely responsible for coordinating today's event, so thank you, Donna. In Montgomery County, we want to make it clear that all are welcome and that we support everyone, no matter their gender, sexuality, race, ethnicity, religion, or income level. This is our marquee event today in honor of the LGBTQ plus community members, but the pride flag we lift here today is one of many. Flags are also going up at all county offices and facilities and will remain up throughout the month of June. Many of our local municipalities, including my hometown, East Norton Township, are flying the pride flag, thanks Don, this month as well. We appreciate and join with them. Thank you all for being here. We are proud to stand with all of you. Now I would like to introduce Lori Schreiber, my colleague and friend. Lori was the first openly LGBTQ person elected in office in Montgomery County when she was voted in as Abington Township Commissioner in 2005. In that capacity, she sponsored a non-discrimination ordinance in 2012, and more recently, she sponsored a resolution to the state against conversion therapy. When she was elected to Montgomery County Clerk of Courts, she became one of the only 2 openly LGBTQ row officers in Pennsylvania, and the only gay woman. This year, she has been included for the 2nd year in a row on City and State PA Magazine's Power Pride 100 list of the most influential figures in Pennsylvania's LGBTQA plus community. So let's give Lori Schreiber a warm welcome.
Lori.
The shortest person here. So thank you all for being here. I know it's really hot. I'll try to get through this so that we can get on to all the other people as well. So I was honored when I received the invitation to speak at today's Pride flag raising ceremony. I quickly responded with a great big yes to Donna to this email, and I felt really happy that we were again going to have this event. And then I reread the email, and I started to really think about the topic. The email said the goal was to give people inspiration on the progress that has been made for the LGBTQIA plus community and hope for future advances for social justice for all. Wow. All of a sudden I had writer's block. Because the truth is, more than a dozen states have passed bills similar to Florida's Don't Say Gay bill. The truth is there's still around 67 countries that criminalize homosexuality. The truth is our trans brothers and sisters are in danger with an uptick in violence. We often hear more about regression than we do about progress when we watch the evening news. And I had just agreed to talk about hope for the future. Wow. But I know there's other truths out there too. And some of those truths do speak to progress. While there's been a long history of marginalization of LGBTQIA plus community in the United States, we really do have some progress. We are at the 51st anniversary of Pride events, the first being one that took place in London in July 1972 as a response after 1969 Stonewall riots. The original rainbow pride flag was designed in 1978 after Harvey Milk asked Gilbert Baker to design a symbol for pride, and then it was updated in 2008 to be made more inclusive. The one we're raising here today is the progressive pride flag, and we will raise it to actively include transgender people and people of color. So the truth is, this flag is a symbol of progress. We hear of the many legislatures and local governments passing laws that can restrict our rights and put many of us in fear. But also, the truth is that 1 year ago, in June 2022, during Pride Month, President Biden signed an executive order advancing equality for LGBTQI plus individuals with a call to address discriminatory legislative attacks against LGBTQI plus children and families, prevent so-called conversion therapy, safeguard health care and programs designed to prevent youth suicide, support LGBTQI plus children and families with new initiatives to protect foster youth, adopt a policy for federal buildings throughout the country to proudly fly the pride flag, as well as the State Department allowing U.S. embassies and diplomatic outposts to fly the pride flag on the same flagpole as the U.S. flag at their embassies or consulates. So that is progress. And the truth is, as you just heard from Commissioner Lawrence, in Pennsylvania we've had some recent wins. House Bill 300 finally passed through the Pennsylvania House after years of waiting. Some of us, Jason for one, have been waiting a very long time for that to move out of committee and onto the House floor. But it did, and it passed, and this is progress. We have some of our state reps here. I know Missy was pointed out, Nancy Gunst. I don't know if there's any others, but thank you very much. It finally passed. And the Pennsylvania House Judiciary Committee just passed a package of bills 1024 through 1027 that will also now move to the House floor. These bills would update current hate crime bills to include such things as gender, gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, along with the current race, color, religion, or national origin. So legislatively, we have had some key votes in Pennsylvania, and this is progress. And let's not forget the progress in marriage equality. We are fast approaching the 10th anniversary of our own D. Bruce Haynes signing the first same-sex marriage license right here in Montgomery County. Thank you. In July 2013. And the truth is, for most people around here, same-sex marriage is really not that unusual anymore. So that is progress. So we may ask, why is Pride still so important today? And again, the truth is that we still need to provide LGBTQIA plus people with a sense of community, a safe space, and the chance to celebrate who they are and who they love without fear and judgment. Senator Tammy Baldwin said, "There will not be a magic day when we wake up and it's now okay to express ourselves publicly. We make that day by doing things publicly until it's simply the way things are." And she is right. But we are not quite there yet. We do have progress, but we also have backlash. And while that backlash still exists, for our young ones who need support, for our seniors who feel alone, for all the LGBTQ people who hear about banning books or gay bashing incidents and feel afraid. We raise flags all over Montgomery County to say, we see you, we celebrate you.
Can we please give it up again for Lori? Come on. So Lori hates to do this, and she's so good at it. Thank you, Lori, for your words. I also like to recognize State Representative Nancy Gens, who is hiding behind me in the shade there, but I saw her. State Representative, thank you for being here. And I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Brittany Kohler. Brittany is a North Wales Borough Council member and the current president of the Montgomery County LGBT Business Council and ambassador for North Wales. As president of the LGBT Business Council, Brittany's focus is to elevate and promote LGBTQ plus owned and allied businesses. Brittany is also an inaugural member of the newly formed Montgomery County Advisory Council for Equity. In addition, Brittany is a board member of the North Wales Human Relations Commission. And like Lori, Brittany is also a two-time City and State Pennsylvania's Pride Power 100 listee. And she was born and raised right here in Montgomery County. It's my pleasure to welcome Brittany Kohler.
Thank you, everyone. First of all, I just want to say thank you again. I'm honored to be here to speak to you all today. Happy Pride Month. Today is extra special because it's really nice to see the crowd here today and to see how many people truly celebrate diversity and support a very diverse community. I stand before you today as a wife, as a mom, as a daughter, as a sister, a friend, and a proud member of the LGBTQ plus community. Like Ken said, I'm very involved in the things that I'm passionate about, which include the Business Council, representing my constituents in North Wales Borough to ensure that equality and diversity is not only celebrated, but it's an example shown every day. Today I stand before you to emphasize the importance of the raising of the pride flag and the undeniable importance of inclusivity and representation in the world of business and commerce. The pride flag, with its vibrant colors and powerful symbolism, serve as a beacon of hope and a reminder of the progress we have made and the battles we have fought. Born out of the resilience and determination of the LGBTQ community, it stands as a powerful symbol of unity, acceptance, and love. Each color represents an integral aspect of our shared humanity. Together, they represent the diverse tapestry of identities and experiences that make up our LGBTQ+ community. But the pride flag is not merely a piece of fabric. It is a symbol that carries a profound message. It is a reminder that every individual, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity, deserves to be seen, heard, and respected. It embodies the hope, dreams, and aspirations of an entire community. By raising it, we declare our unwavering commitment to inclusivity, equality, and justice. We affirm our commitment to creating a world where everyone can live their truth without fear of judgment or discrimination. In the world of business, the significance of inclusivity and representation cannot be overstated. Diversity is not just a buzzword. It is a catalyst for innovation and success. When we embrace diverse perspectives and talents, we unlock a wealth of creativity, problem-solving abilities, and unique insights that drive progress. By fostering an inclusive environment where LGBTQ+ individuals can thrive, we tap into a wellspring of potential and empowering them to contribute their full selves, enhancing the overall strength and resilience of our organizations. Inclusive business recognizes that diversity is not just a checkbox on a corporate social responsibility sheet. It is a strategic imperative. They understand that by embracing and celebrating the LGBTQ+ community, they are not only attracting top talent, but you also cultivate a loyal customer base that values authenticity and genuine connection. Inclusivity is not just the right thing to do, it is a smart business move that drives growth, enhances reputation, and unlocks untapped markets. Let us build businesses and organizations that reflect, welcome, and embrace the beautiful diversity of the world that we live in, fostering a culture where every voice is heard, valued, and respected. Of course, implementing LGBTQ+ inclusive practices may encounter resistance and challenges along the way, much like we're seeing today in a lot of the news articles that you're seeing with corporations and businesses that are standing proudly with us and then are forced to step back for their own employees' safety. So let us stand shoulder to shoulder. As we raise the pride flag high, let us remember the struggles and triumphs that have brought us here, honor the countless individuals who have fought for our rights. Let us commit ourselves to building a world where every LGBTQ+ individual can bring their true selves to work, pursue their passions without fear or compromise. Together, let us pave the way for a future where love, acceptance, and pride transcend boundaries, fighting for both towards a brighter and more inclusive tomorrow. It goes without saying, if you want to be the change, if you want to see the change in the world, you must go be the change. Reflect the world you want to live in. Reflect the world you want to leave behind for those who have yet to come. Because remember, you're currently living in someone else's tomorrow and what they fought for every single day. Keep moving intentionally in the direction of progress. No matter the obstacles we face, we will always face them together. Equality is the future. I have no doubt about that in my mind and in my heart. The real question is, which side of history do you want to be remembered on? I wish you all a safe and happy Pride. Remember to stay proud, stay loud, and don't ever stop moving forward.
Thank you, Brittany. That was wonderful. Our next speaker is Dr. Isabel Porter. Dr. Porter is the director of the Physical Therapist Assistant Program at Montgomery County Community College and an adjunct faculty member in the Physical Therapy Program at Arcadia University. Prior to this, Dr. Porter was a physical therapist and senior living manager with Bayada Home Healthcare, and while at Bayada, she was elected as the first ever co-chair of the Bayada Pride and Bayada's LGBTQIA+ Employee Resource Group. Dr. Porter has served on the American Physical Therapy Association special interest group called PT Pride, and the goal of this group is to improve equity and positive visibility of LGBTQIA+ people within the rehab community. Isabel also sits on the advisory committee for the Eastern PA Trans Equity Project. Dr. Porter authored an article entitled, "As a Trans Woman, Being My True Self Means Being My Best Self," in which she wrote, "As a therapist, I have the honor of helping people through some of the most difficult times of their lives." Please join me in welcoming Dr. Isabel Porter.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Lawrence, for that wonderful introduction. You can all hear me okay? All right, perfect. So I'm very humbled and thankful to be here today. When I was asked to speak, my mind immediately started spiraling down that rabbit hole of, holy crap, like where do I start? It's the first day of Pride, the first year since COVID precautions have been lifted, and it feels like LGBTQIA+ representation in politics and media has never been higher. Mission complete, we did it. Oh wait, we've still got some issues here. We still have people who live under constant and real threat. People who cannot express love for the people they are attracted to. People who cannot look in the mirror without seeing the person who society says they should be, instead of who they know they are. There are still people in our country, our state, and our county who lose their jobs, their friends, their families, and even their lives, just because they chose to live as their true selves. In a world like ours, and in this time when we have supercomputers in our pockets, this is unacceptable. We all deserve better. Do we all agree that we all deserve better? So the question is, how do we get there? My suggestion, and this is just me talking, is we do it together. That's the kind of the whole basis of behind society, right? A community of individuals working toward a common goal. That's a Merriam-Webster's dictionary definition. That's not me. I'm not that eloquent. But I think we should all work together and make things better. I'm not just talking about those of us who identify as LGBTQIA+. I also mean allies of the community. And I am so thankful for those people in my life who realize that love is love, and that love is for everyone. And on this beginning to Pride Month, I want to use this opportunity to talk about what it means to be an ally. So allyship is understanding that helping to move others forward doesn't mean you are going to be pushed back. Allyship is understanding that human rights shouldn't be selective and they shouldn't be conditional. Allyship starts with understanding that we are all looking at the same world, just through different lenses. Those lenses are shaped by and colored by our cultures, our experiences, and our values. Because being an ally starts with being a human. With that, what does it take to be an ally? How do you start? Is there a secret handshake? I don't know. But I want everyone to hear me when I say that to be an ally means that you're an active supporter of the rights and causes of the LGBTQIA+ community. Again, not my definition, that's from Chloe O. Davis. But I think it's important to understand that thinking good vibes toward the community, while they're appreciated, it's not quite enough. Saying, well, I didn't even vote, so in a way I didn't support hateful policies, doesn't quite cut it. The key word is active. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and make a grand gesture to earn your ally card. Start small. Educate yourself on LGBTQIA+ history and terminology. Educate yourself on the past and the current successes of community members, as well as the barriers that still hold some of us back. Go to or even volunteer at Pride events. Take the time to learn that this 54 years of visibility is built on centuries of struggle. Now, I probably should have prefaced all of this by saying that everything I'm saying is just based on my experience and my perspective. I don't speak for anyone else besides myself. But to me, there are a few final suggestions I can make on how to be an ally. Be open and honest. Don't pretend to know more than you do. Be an ear for others to talk to. If a friend or family member comes out to you, be there for them in that moment. Don't react with, "I knew it!" right? Or worse yet, by reacting with nothing but the fear that you have for what they might experience in the future. Just be there. Be purposeful in what you say, especially when you think no one is listening. Mirror someone's wording when they tell you about their husband or their wife or their partner. Remember that pronouns and sexuality aren't preferred, they just are. Think about how you vote and your voice and how it can help so many who don't have either. If you feel comfortable, share your pronouns on an email signature when you're introducing yourself to someone. It just takes a second. Think about where you shop and how your dollars can sometimes speak louder than words. And if you offend someone, apologize and move on. Don't try to prove that you're right. So why is allyship so important? Because you never know what the person next to you is feeling or what they're going through. And I think that regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, we can all use a friend. I think back so many years when I was growing up, I was always scared of something, right? I wasn't just scared of the typical kid stuff like someone telling my crush that I like them, or getting picked last for kickball, or typical 90s stuff like a clown in the sewer. I was scared of people noticing that I wasn't tough enough, or that I didn't like the things I was supposed to like, or that I would rather play with dolls than throw a football. Again, not everyone's experience, but it was mine. The thing I was most scared of was someone calling me a pretty boy. Out of anything that bullies could call me, that was the worst. It was the worst because I knew that they were half right. I just wanted to be called pretty. The problem is back then, I never had anyone to tell me that that was okay. And to be clear, no one that I can remember ever expressly said to me, "Izzy, you can't be a gay girl." But I was told things like, I said line up with the boys, or boys don't act like that, or of course, man up. Back then I didn't have an ally to tell me, I see you, it's okay, and I'm here no matter what. Being an ally can literally save someone's life. All right, it's getting hot up here, y'all, so I'm gonna wrap it up.
So our last speaker is actually our youngest speaker, despite Commissioner Winder's hope that she would be the youngest speaker here today. And that is Evan Wang, who is Montgomery County's first Youth Poet Laureate. He is a young writer and performance artist from King of Prussia. He's a sophomore at Upper Marion High School, where he was awarded the Youth Appreciation Award and is president of the Asian Student Association. Evan is also an alumnus of the Iowa Young Writers Studio and an accepted student at the Adroit Journal Summer Mentorship Program and the Kenyon Review Young Writers Workshop. These are three of the most prestigious high school creative writing programs in the country. Evan's work has been featured at and recognized by Button Poetry, NPR, Philadelphia Contemporary, Montgomery County Community College, Wawa Welcome America, the Alliance for Young Artists and Writers, and the Moonstone Arts Center. And today, Evan will be reading an original poem. So please join me in welcoming Evan Wang, Montgomery County's Youth Poet Laureate.
past year, like all of the years before, the queer community has braved love, supposed love, and hate at its worst. In January, the Central Bucks School District, just one county away, passed a policy to ban pride flags all throughout the district. Though I am not the youth poet laureate of Bucks County, it is my responsibility to address this ceaseless effort to prevent self-expression and actualization, now prevalent even at the school level. Maggie Smith wrote in her poem, Good Bones, "The world is at least half terrible, but you could make this place beautiful. We could make this place beautiful." Today, I will read an original poem titled The Whale, written for one of my good friends. But at this moment, this is for the queer community, my community. This is here for your wounds. The Whale, for David. Did you see a whale swimming in the sky today? Say yes, then no, but don't lie to me. I know your flippers cleaved air like love. Every sky held you like you were born into it. Its wispy clouds cutting barnacles away from your underside, holding you in still life. I watched from below, the day burning of your hair color. In my restless city full of time, I traced veins for a better view. Listen, the harpoon stuck within your blubber, which I know to be make-believe, wasn't shot by me, but I might as well have. These days, whalers from foreign cities whisper that your heart holds miles, weighs as heavy as distance. The last time you swam your heart, there was a man you descended into a city for. Streetlights brushing up against the soft animal of your parted lips, he slept within your vessels, cavernous with life, drinking blood as you ferried him to the edge of the world, day in, no out, a song that won't shatter him. There, he drove a harpoon through your skin, once hidden along his callous touch. Blood, and whales on the edge of the world, your origin of pain, a tale growing itself after every city. Backstroking to familiar skies, you keep your whalebone clean, singing through it. You recoil at your heart, pumping something new, sloughing a man's weight. In our lives, there is always a man to be hated. In mine, it will never be your turn. I know this because you know me. I am a boy, and I don't know if I'm yet evil. Stay far away enough to close enough to see me standing below in a street at midnight, head cocked up, admiring an unruined animal pretending to be human. You can hide in this. Here, I can blame my whole world on you, but you can't. Don't say a single thought about yourself. Here is love, and it's not an ocean. Here is a piece of me that would do no harm. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you so much. All right, it is time to raise the flag. And we can only do this at 2 at a time. So I'd like our speakers to come up. If we can start with Lori and Evan and get it up as high as you can, and then we'll go to Brittany and Dr. Porter then. You got it? Yeah, this is part of it. You got to raise the flag. That wasn't part of that note for you?